to assist our brother and footballer and friend Mason Gustav. Give $5, give more. We thank you in advance for your support as we help our brother, our friend, our footballer Mason Gustav of the Courts Ready Cash 767 East Central Farm.
That's all we want. Because all leaders are rock, they just can't stop me now.
Lafayette's House Medical Laboratory, my preferred choice for professional and confidential medical laboratory services. Lafayette provides results for all medical tests. If it can't be done there, they will facilitate it through their international partners. Their main office in Roseau is open from 7:30 a.m.
to 8 p.m.
Mondays to Fridays and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Home visits and emergency services are also available. Call 448-0100, WhatsApp 276-5213 or visit any of their locations. Cross Street, Roseau, Pickard, Portsmouth, Marigot or Grand Bay. Lafayette's House Medical Laboratory. My choice, your choice, our choice.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, the Business Training Center has reached a new milestone. In news from the region, St. Vincent forms a task force in response to U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump extends a deadline to keep TikTok running in the U.S. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when I return.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go! Turn your TV on. Listen to DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951. DBS News.
Welcome back. The Business Training Center has reached a new milestone with the introduction of the General Education Development GED program. This program allows high school dropouts and adult learners in Dominica to obtain a high school diploma even if they did not finish traditional high school. CEO of the Business Training Center, Lucia Sedman, says this diploma is internationally accepted.
Business Training Center is proud to announce that it is now officially authorized to deliver the GED, General Education Development Program, that is an internationally recognized high school equivalency credential. This milestone offers a vital second chance for individuals who did not complete traditional secondary education, enabling them to advance in their studies or career paths. BTC is committed to empowering individuals with flexible and accessible educational opportunities. The GED program is a game changer for those who want a second chance at academic success. This high school diploma covers 4 core subjects, ensuring comprehensive readiness for higher education and professional pursuits. The GED covers mathematical reasoning, reasoning through language arts, science, and social studies. The GED high school diploma is an international high school diploma that is recognized internationally. It is used, for example, in the US, where if a person in the US did not complete a regular high school, you would have to do the GED classes and exam. As you are aware, in the Commonwealth of Dominica, our high school diplomas are issued by the secondary schools, and our minimum requirements in our secondary schools are CXCs. The GED high school diploma is the international level. It's compared to the Caribbean high school diploma. So you'd find that if a Dominican were to go to St. Martin, to go to the UK, anywhere in the world, to the US, and they do not have a high school diploma from one of our local secondary schools, that GED high school diploma can take them anywhere in the world.
CEO of the Business Training Center, Lucia Stedman. Meantime, Stedman says the Business Training Center is also entering into a new phase of operation.
Business Training Center's introduction of the GED program coincides with its rebranding efforts and the adoption of a hybrid approach to classes. After operating largely in COVID mode for the past 5 years, BTC is returning to face-to-face classes, complemented by our online learning options. The institution is also unveiling new uniforms, basically relocating to a new venue and rolling out a fresh brand identity, all aimed at continuing to provide high-quality educational opportunities for the youth and adults of Dominica. We are very grateful to offer Dominicans who have dropped out of high school the opportunity to earn a recognized high school diploma. Our goal is to open doors for more Dominicans to advance academically and professionally, whether at home or abroad.
CEO of the Business Training Center, Lucia Stedman. The latest IMF assessment of Dominica suggests that the economy will grow by 4% this year. Kiwana Fountain Wilson reports.
The IMF says Dominica's economy has continued its expansion. The report noted that the real gross domestic product, GDP, grew by 3.5% in 2024, supported by a recovery in tourism and targeted development investment to boost economic capacity and competitiveness. It said inflation has eased from its 2023 peak of 7%, averaging 3.1% in 2024. The IMF revealed that tourism arrivals have surpassed pre-pandemic levels by roughly 32%, but the composition has shifted towards cruise visitors over stayovers. The International Financial Institution says the labor market recovery remains uneven. However, with formal employment lagging behind overall growth, fiscal balances have narrowed, but public debt remains high and above pre-pandemic levels. The IMF reports that Dominica's financial system is stable and liquid, and the credit union sector is expanding its lending portfolio rapidly. According to the IMF, Dominica's economy will continue to expand, underpinned by ongoing development investments. Kiwana Fountain Wilson reporting.
Our thanks to Kiwana Fountain Wilson for that report. The government of Dominica has officially announced the renaming of the West Bridge to the Phyllis Shan Allfrey Bridge. Allfrey was a co-founder of the Dominica Labour Party and also the Dominica Freedom Party. Parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central constituency, Melissa Popon-Skerritt, made the announcement today.
In the official launch of the program of activities in celebration of the 70th anniversary of the formation of the Dominica Labour Party, the Honorable Prime Minister announced government's intention to rename the West Bridge in Roseau in honor of the memory of the late Phyllis Bayam Shand Allfrey. She was known for her contributions as a writer, a socialist activist, a newspaper editor, and a politician in the Commonwealth of Dominica. The West Bridge, which was officially commissioned on May 1st, 2017, Labor Day, an international day in celebration of laborers and the working classes, promoted by the International Labor Movement, will be renamed in memory of one of Dominica's stalwart on workers' rights, social justice, and equality. The bridge represents a major symbol in the city of Roseau and forms part of the National Resilience Development Strategy of Dominica and forms part of the Urban Development Plan for the enhancement of Roseau. And so as part of the overall Roseau Enhancement Project, the ministry responsible for urban development will undertake a major Pin the Tongue initiative to beautify the city of Roseau consistent with the environmental stewardship. Another major contribution to the overall social welfare of Dominica society in the life and work of Phyllis Shan Allfrey. To ensure that her contribution to Dominica's society and her long-lasting contributions and advocacy to changes in the political, socio-economic, cultural, and environmental conditions in Dominica's society and the city of Roseau is memorialized, the government and the Commonwealth of Dominica has decided to rename the West Bridge as the Phyllis Shan Allfrey Bridge.
Parliamentary representative for the Roseau Central constituency, Melissa Popon-Skerritt. A Dominican male has died from leptospirosis. National epidemiologist Dr. Charlene Ahmed says cases of leptospirosis have emerged for the first time since the passage of Hurricane Maria in 2017.
We are closely monitoring emerging leptospirosis cases with 10 suspected patients hospitalized in March. Samples were sent to CARFA for PCR testing, and laboratory results have confirmed 2 positive cases, including 1 fatal outcome. The deceased patient sought medical care at late stage of infection and died from multi-organ failure, a severe complication of leptospirosis. Given diagnostic challenges, early symptoms like fever, headache, and muscle pain mimic common illnesses, and testing delays can hinder timely confirmation. We are taking proactive measures. 1, providing immediate empirical antibiotic treatment for suspected cases to prevent severe outcomes. 2, distributing updated clinical guidelines to healthcare workers to aid early recognition. And 3, educating high-risk groups on avoiding exposure to stagnant rainwater, rodent habitats, and contaminated soil. Physicians should maintain a high index of suspicion, particularly for patients with exposure history, recent heavy rainfall, and clinical signs like conjunctival suffusion or severe cough pain. These alerts also serve as a critical public reminder to avoid high-risk exposures.
National epidemiologist Dr. Charlene Ahmed. Leptospirosis is caused mainly by rats, manicu, and agouti. Dr. Ahmed has encouraged the public to seek medical attention urgently if they were exposed to the threat of leptospirosis.
So my message to the people, if you are in contact with risk factors that I mentioned, then and you develop some symptoms, then please seek immediate medical attention. The earlier you come to or seek the medical care, it is better for you and better for the physician to really administer the medication on time. Actually, there were no cases in 2024. The last time we had leptospirosis, it was way back in during Hurricane Maria. Actually, afterward Hurricane Maria. That's when we had confirmed cases of leptospirosis. We did have some suspected cases, but that turned out to be negative afterward. This is the first time we are seeing so many suspected cases, 10 suspected cases within a month period. So this is something that we are investigating. As I mentioned, all 10 samples, the result for sample came back, and they were all negative except 2 cases. These are still sporadic cases. They are not cluster. They are not outbreak. These are still sporadic cases. The cases are coming from all different areas of Dominica. Nothing should be concerned about as long as you seek the medical care on time. This is very important point for the general public, that seek medical care as early as possible. Not wait until you cannot urinate, not wait until your eyes looking yellow, not wait until if there any organ failure. Please come early so that we can assess the situation and see what stage you are in.
National epidemiologist Dr. Charlene Ahmed. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit says the government will look towards the implementation of a special framework to recognize people who have made a significant contribution to Dominica. The Prime Minister's remarks came while paying homage to the late music icon Fitzroy Williams on the Creole Heartbeat program this week. Williams, who passed away last month after a battle with illness, will be laid to rest tomorrow.
In respect to Fitzroy, and of course, Fitzroy was a national icon, musician extraordinary, one who committed his entire life to Dominica and promoting Dominica's culture and also creating culture. Fitzroy was able to create music, and I do not think that any of the existing or past bands or musicians can say that Fitzroy did not have a part to play in the success. So I agree with you entirely that we may need to consider a special arrangement for people like that, not only during the death, but even during their lifetime. I give you the assurance that's something I'll take note of. But I agree with you entirely that we need to have a different category. Official funerals have always been restricted to parliamentarians. But I have spoken to the Minister of Culture, and I know that they're working with the family in respect to the arrangements and for the funeral of Fitzroy. But I agree that a special framework should be put in place to recognize those persons, not only during the death or after the death, but during their lifetime, and to ensure that these people are recognized for the contribution that they've made.
Prime Minister Roosevelt's carried a vigil in the memory of the late Fitzroy Williams will take place this evening at the factory on Valley Road. It will be carried live on DBS Radio from 7 p.m. In our feature segment this evening, we highlight Lucien Blackmore, a licensed professional civil engineer with 38 years of experience in infrastructure design, project management, and public administration. He currently serves as the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Environment, Rural Modernization and Kalinago Upliftment. Lucien Blackmore, who is our feature on the DBS Evening News, led critical national moments such as coordinating resettlement efforts after the devastation of Tropical Storm Erica.
I just want to say, over the years, my inspiration and my satisfaction have been derived from seeking to make a difference to others. That engineers is about community development and nation building. But I think the first building block, engineers is about building individuals. The first building block is building individuals. And tonight, what really gave me the honor is really trying to be of inspiration to the younger ones like Darren and others to realize it's not only about the money, but most importantly is how effectively you can impact a better quality of life for people. Most of us who are drawn towards engineers are usually fanatics of mathematics and the sciences. And I recall when I went to the UK, the first course was by a social scientist. And the name of the course was Engineer in Society. I must have made about 10 attempts to get up from my seat and walk out. I said, what kind of abstract thing is that? Engineer in Society, I didn't come here for that. And I can tell you, fellow colleagues, up to this day, I can say that has been one of the best courses I've ever done over my professional life. It really taught you to understand your role as an engineer is to seek to make an improvement and betterment in people's lives.
Lucien Blackmore, our feature on the DBS Evening News. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Yo, what's up? Baby, let's go! Turn your TV on. Listen to DBS on Digicel TV Channel 50 and Flow TV Channel 951.
DBS News.
In news from the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines says it has formed a task force in response to the decision by the United States President Donald Trump to impose a 10% tariff on goods entering the North American country from the Caribbean island. Trump Wednesday announced the new tariff measure ranging from 10 to 38% for several countries worldwide, including those in the Caribbean. St. Vincent Agriculture and Labor Minister Sabuto Caesar said the new tariff regime will impact the trade of commodities, and it is important that St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as a producer of food with existing relationships globally, address the important implications on food and nutrition security. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has granted TikTok a 75-day extension to comply with a law that requires the hugely popular video app to either sell its assets to the U.S. or face a ban in the country. Trump's first extension took effect in January and was set to expire on Saturday. The social media platform, which is used by 170 million in the U.S., initially went dark for several hours before Trump took office, as the app prepared to shut down in the U.S. after a law passed by Congress. The new extension comes as the Trump administration tries to broker a deal to bring the social media platform under American ownership and keep the popular app running in the U.S. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. Kavem Hodge fell one run short of a century, putting the Windward Islands in a solid position, and now it's for the bowlers to take the team home as the Volcanoes and Barbados Pride head into the final day of their CWI Regional 4-day match in St. Lucia. Hodge got run out for 99 as the Windwards made 316 in their second innings. Alec Afanes got 78 and Shadrach Descat 50. Raymond Simmons picked up 4 for 47 for Barbados. Barbados chasing 304 for victory were 144 for 3 at stumps on day 3. Shane Mosley got 61 not out and Jonathan Drake's 35. Scores heading into the final day: Volcanoes 186 and 316, Barbados 198 and 144 for 3. Barbados needs 181 more runs for victory. Elsewhere, Kevlon Anderson and Tevin Imlach registered centuries for Guyana in their match with the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. Anderson got 101, Imlach 103 not out as Guyana reached 381 for 4 at stumps on day 3. Scores in that game: Guyana 193 and 381 for 4. The Leewards 335. Guyana leads by 239 runs. And Johan Jeremy got a century as the combined campuses and colleges pushed their lead against the West Indies Academy past 200. Jeremy hit 107 as the CCC reached 279 for 4 at stumps on day 3. The scores so far for the CCC: 238 and 279 for 4. West Indies Academy 316. The CCC leads by 201 runs. In other sports this evening, the Dominica State College got the better of the Pierchild Secondary School as the Sports Division Secondary Schools Under-20 Boys Basketball Tournament continued on Friday. The college took the match 66-60 at the Center Court in Grand Bay. Kalon Paul had 16 and Dretswan Lee 21 points for the State College. Karim Daniel got 42 for the PSS. Koma Telemak got 14 points for the PSS. Meantime, the other match between defending champions Academics and the Portsmouth Secondary School, set for the American Canadian School of Medicine, did not take place due to rain. President of the Dominica Athletics Association, Brendan Williams, is hoping to see more qualifiers from this weekend's final Carifta Games trials at Windsor Park. So far, 5 Dominicans have qualified for the 2025 Games to be held in Trinidad. Dominica will also have a mixed relay team and in the sprint events. The final qualifiers will be held on Sunday. Williams says only qualified athletes will represent Dominica at the Games.
We decided that we're going for qualified athletes only, We had a discussion with the affiliates before the season, and the only way that we could get ranking points to enter any other competition besides Carifta, for example, the relay team, is by actually starting at the Carifta. So we're actually looking for ranking points so that these athletes can enter other competitions such as Pan Am and, CC, NACAC events. We see based on the times that the athletes are running, we could make the top 5 in that event. So that is why we had that discussion with the affiliates, and everyone agreed to have the mixed relay team. As it relates to the other athletes getting the nod for those who may be closest, some athletes had well over 9 opportunities to qualify. And they did not meet the mark. So we would not want to have a subjective conversation in terms of who would be the best person, whose distance or whose time would be closest. Because as you know, we are looking at jumps, sprints, and throws. So it's all based on the athletes to qualify, and based on that, they will get the nod to go on to the Caribbean Games.
President of the Dominica Athletics Association, Brendan Williams. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit is hopeful that the lights at Windsor Park will be operational before the end of the year. Government announced earlier this week that the Dominican National Lotteries will fund the lighting project in the region of $14 million. Speaking on the Creole Heartbeats program this week, the Prime Minister says initial efforts to restore the lights were met with some challenges.
We had signed a contract already for over $4 million to put in the infrastructure, the basis of this. So that way, people speak as if we had abandoned the lights. No, the reason why we have found ourselves in a situation because concerns were raised about the compatibility of the base that we're putting in and the light infrastructure, and because these 2 contracts were being done independent of each other, which we should have really been advised properly and say, well, you should have one contract for this. Construct the base and the supply light, because the bolts have to fit.
Be in sync. You have to be in sync.
Because you put in the base for the bolting in the concrete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so this is where we stopped, because we got advised that the lights that are available, the infrastructure available, is different from what we're putting in. So we have spent a significant amount of money on this for the electricals, for the bases and so forth. Those are $4+ million contract. So I don't want people to get the impression that we never did anything with the lights, and that stalled us a bit because we had to get further advice. We had to figure out suppliers, and when you saw the cost, after having spent so much money, then you have to find another $14 million to do this.
Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. Levi Barron goes in search of his second win of the season as the Dominica Cycling Association stages its second road race of the season. The riders will ride from Maboyd's Bar to Layu and back twice. PRO of the Dominica Cycling Association is Garon Ducree.
The event scheduled for Sunday, April 6, 2025 at Maboyd's Bar, Woodbridge Bay, will host competitors riding to Layu Bridge and back twice. Registration starts at 8 a.m. and the race starts at 9 a.m. sharp. The general public is encouraged to support the event, and road users are urged to exercise extreme care and attention within the designated course. We express thanks for the invaluable contribution of all our sponsors and partners making this event possible.
PRO of the Dominica Cycling Association, Garon Ducree. Head coach of the national under-19 cricket team, Phoenix Thomas, is backing the team to do well at the upcoming Winlot Windward Islands under-19 cricket tournament. The tournament gets underway in Grenada this weekend. Thomas says the team is balanced and he is looking forward to the competition.
We selected a 14-man squad that Stefan Pascal, obviously with his experience and his availability, will lead in Grenada. We've been doing some very intense work. What I've done as the coach is moved away from this traditional 2:30, 3 o'clock afternoon training where you only get an hour and a half training with the guys. So we've stated our training sessions throughout the week, and starting at 9:30 and going on until 2:30 in the afternoon. So I think it has given us more time to prepare and to do specific stuff with the guys. Our chances, I think, is very, very good. Most of the guys are guys who have been at the academy working with the different coaches. So having them now as a team, they're no strangers to each other. They know each other's skill level and what they're capable of doing. So at the end of it, it's really what they do on the field. So we've put in the work with them. So now it's what they do on the field and what they do on the day in Grenada that will decide whether they are successful or not. But with the combination that we have, I think we very much stand a very, very, very good chance of winning the championship.
National Under-19 cricket coach Phoenix Thomas. The Under-19 team is being captained by Stephen Pascal and reads Luvio Charles, Dion Roll, Asinio Fontaine, Jelani Joseph, Amil Gilbert, Jason Vidal, Edmond Moranci, Darren Toussaint, Malinga Bruno, Kenny Valmont, Joel Dura, Cassidy Larrock, and Kester Lestrade. The team is being coached by Phoenix Thomas and managed by Kevin James. Dominica will play their first match against St. Vincent on Sunday. And that's all we end the DBS Evening Sports Report. I was your presenter, Leila Langford. Good evening.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has